Hello, dear folks. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow, hosting with G&E TV. Today, I'm especially honored, joined by a good friend of mine and good friend of California, Honorable Kurt Hagman, former Assembly member of California 55th District, and now currently he is the supervisor of San Bernardino County. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. It's always great to be back.
Good. Even though we go for beer all the time, I still have to serve you on the show, though.
No, you don't need to serve me anything. But yeah, we've been friends for what, 9 years now. So.
Oh yeah, we go back long time. I'm so happy. It is a interview. However, it sounds more friend chat for a long time no see though. That's
very busy, very busy.
Very busy. After taking the office of San Bernardino County Supervisor, you seem to be busier than before because you travel, I see, back and forth, especially between U.S. and China a lot. And I learned that you just came back from China. And something about your visit, please. And I would like to know how many cities did you visit this time?
Last trip was 3, Nanjing, Wuxi, and Shanghai. I'm going back again very shortly. And there'll be probably 5 or 6 cities on that trip. This is a work pleasure trip, this last trip. Most of the time, all my trips have been very much all business from morning to night. I had the luxury to bring in my wife and daughter with me on this trip.
I see.
For my trip, Wuxi is, I think I said it last time on the show, is our sister city for the county of San Bernardino. The only sister city relationship we have anywhere in the world is with Wuxi right now.
I see.
And for my visit in November, we made personal contacts with the mayor, the vice mayor, and the party chairman for the province. And they invited me to come back with my family because my daughter, who is a freshman, now a sophomore in high school, is studying Mandarin. So part of the trip was business. Part of it was to drop off my daughter, who's been there for the entire month, learning Mandarin at the university there. So
I see.
So it's very exciting for her, and I had to go back and pick her up.
But I have a big question, though. Lots of people saying that the call is very strong, daily strong, say, hey, the rise of China is kind of danger to the United States. Are you afraid at all?
No, I think it's, from my position, both as a former legislator for California and for San Bernardino. I mean, San Bernardino is larger than 6-8 states out there, population geographically.
Exactly.
We're a trading partner in our own. And a large component of my residents in the 4th District are Asian Americans who have business ties in Asia. And my job is to foster those ties and to build up. It's a global economy, a global market. And to have those both political, friendship, and other relationships with our trading partners is important, especially since we have our Ontario International Airport back in our own hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I intend to hopefully foster more relationships with Asia and have some direct flights and more direct investment. So.
Yeah. To Wuxi, Hangzhou, and Shanghai, though, what is the business purpose?
Well, Wuxi, we're looking at, they have an airport just like we do in Ontario that's underutilized.
I see.
They do a lot of international shipping out there, so we're working on a direct shipping from Wuxi to Ontario.
I see.
We're also looking at...
that will benefit California a lot.
Absolutely, for trade both ways.
Not only the county, but California.
Yes.
If not the whole United States.
We're also looking at, obviously, simple things like student exchange. My daughter's one of the first ones.
All right,
and,
good.
And also there's a lot of both exports that we would like to do out of the county into Asia. So, and our businesses are smaller in scale sometimes, and a lot of those folks do not know how to start the process. And so we have a large economic development team that I'm putting together, as well as a new consulting team to take our businesses here and help with emerging markets and for the products over in Asia, as well as the other way around. And so it's really trying to get the economic flow started, as well as some of the cultural flow back and forth.
That's good. And well, you've been in China lately for many times already. What is your impression about China? Because to me, myself, China is almost foreign country, because I left China for too long, 31 and a half years already. So it is almost a foreign country.
Sure, it's growing so fast.
Yeah, I need to ask you for some input.
Well, I don't know about
please.
that, but I will say that, obviously China and the United States are the two superpowers economically. That things that are true here in the United States are true in China. both from governmental needs. We got to assess our growing healthcare, our aging of our population, how to deal with healthcare, infrastructure needs. All that stuff's identical across the waters.
I see.
And both business environments are generally the same now as well. They're very entrepreneurship in China. It's growing very rapidly. They have their slowdowns, just like we have our ups and downs as well. And now those who have been successful in the growth of China are now looking to diversify some of their investments. So that's advantageous for the United States and for San Bernardino County, because we went through our little slowdown. So now's a good time to buy. And our economy is building its base and growing again. And truly, for any kind of business now, from the smallest to the largest, it is a global type of environment. My friend's an architect over at one of the universities here, and he teaches, but he also does architect work on the side.
I see.
He meets with the client, gets the general stuff, but his CAD artists and stuff are in India and South America. You know, so through the internet and through those connections of communications, you can have an office of 3 in 3 different countries, you know, all having their different parts. So you can bring the experts and the talents from different parts of the world, even on the service business. We all know about call centers. We know about this and that. And so I think it's bad for a government to put the blinders on and say everything's be done here.
Exactly.
We have to keep our eyes open. We have to work those relationships. I need to do that for not only for the government of San Bernardino, but also for the businesses and the residents of San Bernardino County, to have them equal opportunity to compete on a global
It's a
ways.
people-to-people opportunity,
Yes.
right? So, of course, in the beginning, I joke a little bit about, are you afraid or whatever? So, during your visits, this many visits to China, though, do you see anything of that nature?
No, I think there's certain things that in Asia they do more efficiently and a larger scale than we do here, and there's certain things we do better here. So I mean, it's that combination that makes us stronger when we work together. And that's why you see a lot of the global companies that will have maybe their research and development here, but they're manufacturing overseas. But it is getting more and more change. I see as the next generation, as my daughter's generation gets older, I don't think you have that divide, because you have the cross students taking classes at different universities, working at companies here as interns.
That reminds me, I may
going
take
back and forth.
Andrew. I may send Andrew over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew is talking about China a lot these days. Yeah, so look at that.
Absolutely. I think it benefits our children to be exposed to different environments in different parts of the world. So I'm very proud of my daughter for going through that and being brave at 15 years old and being alone for about 10 days. But she is getting spoiled. My biggest fear is she won't want to come back. She's having such a good time.
Same thing happened to Craig Young of Yorba Linda. He had his son there first study, and then he's teaching. He's taking an excellent teaching job there. Right?
Yes, I am going to see Craig next week. I'll meet up
how's
with him
your
for a couple
son doing?
days. My son's doing great. He'll be a junior at UCLA this year. He's in the Army ROTC program. So while I was having fun this month, he's been rolling around in the dirt of Fort Knox, Kentucky, playing Army, and being yelled at a lot. So I think it's been quite a different experiences for us.
But anyway, in between China and the United States, we really need those ambassadors going back and forth to link people together. No matter how politically you look at it, those are fake information. What true at the bottom, end of the day, is that people need people. People need friendship. People need money. People need business. So you're the one. All right. So today, my dear audience, joining me is my good friend, also great friend for the community, Honorable Kurt Hackman, Assembly Member of former state legislator of the 55th District of California. Now, currently, he is the supervisor of San Bernardino County, talking about a whole subject, county and the election together. We, in the first segment, touch base with him about his visit to China he just came back from. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. My name is Jack Chow, your host who loves the community a lot, that me and my team working very hard to bring information, whichever we believe necessary, to this show to provide you with the references. Now, with the U.S.-China relationship getting closer and closer. We want to see with our own eye about how people do it. And to them, thanks to people like Honorable Kurt Hackman, who donated his own efforts in doing it, actually practicing it. So for that, we appreciate it very much. With the information about your visit to China, we also have the concern about your beautiful county. So how is the county, San Bernardino, doing since the last attack, please? We care about a lot.
No, thank you, Jack. I really do. Thank you for your show and getting the information out. I think the number one thing that we can do as elected officials and what you could do on your side is to inform the general public any way we can. Information is very powerful for folks. Yeah, on December 2nd, we had our little terrorist incident in San Bernardino County that was very destructive to the whole department of ours. And the county is very strong. In fact, our logo is SB Strong. As we come back, the county administration and us have given as much support as we can to those victims that were affected that day, either dead or wounded or emotionally touched. It touched the whole county family, and we're still reeling with that. Some of the obviously we're trying to take care of those to recover the best way we can. We will be, even though this was not at a county facility, we're going to be looking at trying to protect our employees a little more. I think it was the beginning of what's going to happen, as we've seen, of many more attacks around the world, and it's a different environment now than it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I have a little blame for the administration for setting that environment up, but
that's another issue that we need to talk about later. Yeah.
But it is a new environment, so we're trying to react to it what we can within our powers, as far as looking at our security of our county facilities, our public facilities. As we transition into a new revolution of technology that's going to be affordable to government. I'm pushing the county to go less brick and mortar, more cyberspace. Have people to build those services online via video and those type of things. So as we kind of upgrade our technology at all different levels, part of that's going to be security. So we're doing strong, more mentally. We're hanging in there. We are not enough praise to go to the first responders who reacted very quickly to resolve it very fastly. They did a fantastic job, and frankly, they train for that all the time.
The public have noticed already that it has been many times very highly appraised about the quick response of that instant. Right. As a matter of fact, you seldom see some quick response as much as that. And this is the one thing that's positive, that's so positive, you guys want to develop and to keep on going. And what negative lessons have you learned out of this attack?
What's difficult is, in a free, open society that we have in the United States, this can happen anywhere. As you see in the European examples, who have much stricter controlled environments.
Of course.
It can happen on a bus, on a train, at an airport.
Much bloodier.
Pretty much any place you have people, you have to be aware. And so one of the lessons we're doing is my office is putting on awareness classes, what to look for, how to react, run, hide, fight, type of things, and what do we do in situations. Again, educating people the best you can. You cannot put a police officer in every corner of every street. Even places where they had police officers are the ones like in Florida who got shot first before they went and did their thing. It's a side time, for me, as my beliefs is what it means to me is I have to be ready to protect my family, myself. In San Bernardino County, we do give concealed weapon permits. I do have one myself. At times, I would not think about carrying my gun. I'm going to be thinking about carrying it more sometimes, just in the environment. This is a global political situation that's brought home to our soil, and that we're going to have to look at countries that have dealt with it for a long time, like Israel and other places, to try and learn from them the best practices.
You're absolutely right. Take me, for example. I used to be a gun opponent myself. Now I'm thinking about getting one myself, and also I would wish to get the right to carry my concealed weapons. Suppose if everybody carries one, though, that deters.
Yes.
Right? That scares bad people away. Other than that, you're vulnerable. And take France's case, for example. Take Paris' case, for example, and take any other case, for example. Should they have weapons on themselves, they will resist. They'll put up a fight, right, to reduce.
Well, that's, and just digress a little bit on the political thing. I fought this battle for 6 years in California. California has the strongest gun restriction laws anywhere in the country. And I've been to other countries on behalf of our government back in my previous lives where they have total gun ban. Even law enforcement, you have to go buy your ammunition from the government, and they issue a weapon, and you can't get anything else anywhere. Those countries have the highest restrictions, have the worst violence, because the guys who are going to go shoot somebody, kill somebody, doesn't care about a misdemeanor or a felony law breaking. They're going to get their guns from across borders. They're going to steal them. They're going to import them in, and now they know that no one else has a gun.
I'm convinced. I am convinced. Yes.
And every example in real life shows that an armed citizenry prevents that. Israel, for example, they allow their citizens to carry weapons. So there's less, and if there is something that happens, it's shut down quicker. So I think we're doing a disservice saying we need to get rid of guns, because the bad guys are always going to have guns. You're not going to get rid of all the guns in the United States. You cannot physically do that. So the bad guys have guns, and so all you think of, protect yourself, protect your family, get well trained, be aware of your surroundings. We will do some security measures where we can, but we can't, this is at a rented ballroom for our people.
Exactly as the term goes, the well-behaved and well-trained militia.
Correct.
Right? So that's the term. Anyway, so much on that. We care also about, if not more, by the same amount of the airport. It is the airport that for example, I would wish that you connect some major cities with China with a direct flight instead of having to transfer from Shanghai, from Beijing, from Guangzhou, which are a mess.
No, I flew back from Shanghai this last trip, and I flew into Nanjing. And I like Nanjing Airport much better than Shanghai.
I do too, yeah.
And even though it's the new airport, it's beautiful. It's just so many people, it's so crowded. It took, there's 5 lines before you get to your gate. And it's such a big airport. Ontario is perfect and is ready for the secondary cities.
Sure.
I want to fly to Nanjing. I want to fly to 2 different Zhengzhou and other non-capital cities.
How about Xi'an?
Xi'an be awesome. We are open for business. As of last week, the final barrier to the transfer was completed. There's a congressional act that signed something law for us. That took a while, but we got that done. So we are done. We are open for business now. As of last week, for any international
Are you
flights.
saying that we can expect some direct flight from Los
That's why I'm going
Angeles to Ontario to Xi'an?
I'm flying back in 24 hours and meeting some airlines right now. I already have a couple that we've been working with. That one promises to have a flight by March next year. I'm trying to push them by this year yet.
So please put me on your pilot flight.
I'm very excited to have that.
Virgin flight.
And plus with that is we have, actually Ontario Airport is faster to downtown LA than LAX. We have a bigger footprint than LAX. We're a much bigger airport. Much newer. You don't have all that traffic, multiple routes of transportation to get there. And so I'm talking to other investors about building a brand new international terminals, parking structures, hotels, shopping centers. I mean, 5 years from now, we won't recognize the airport. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be large. It's going to be the place to come and go out of the West Coast.
All right.
And so I'm very excited for what we have vision for.
All right, my dear audience, if you care about Ontario Airport, you better talk to Kurt Hagman.
No, talk to the airlines that fly now.
Kurt Hagman, because he's the one on the job. You're the one on the job. I'm joined by Mr. Kurt Hagman, Honorable Kurt Hagman, with this show, talking about everything that I think my audience will be concerned about, right? So Ontario Airport is one big subject. Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue not only the airport itself, the surrounding areas, the connected or the related, the infrastructures, so on and so forth, that needs lots of development, right? So let's talk about that when we come back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. My dear fellow Angelenos, welcome back. And this is the show talking about ourselves, our own self, our community, our safety, our business, our development, and of course, with a bigger environment. And we say, if I use a quote from my guest, Honorable Kurt Hagman, it is a new environment now. Both negatively and positively. I see more positive rather than negative in this whole thing. Joining me is my good friend, Honorable Kurt Hackman, also a strong leader of the community, the current supervisor of San Bernardino County, former assemblyman of California. Once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
I'm very excited. Talking about the airport, Ontario Airport, I used to fly that a lot during the early years. Ontario Airport, Burbank, even John Wayne Airport down south, right? So, while in the recent years, there is no flight that way at all. So, we do feel so glad to see things come back, right? So, with the airport though, the airport itself is one thing. The construction, the development, the stretch, the runways, the towers, so on and so forth. And the surrounding business, surrounding development is the other. How do you, as a board, members of the counties, consider about the matching stuff?
Well, what's nice about Ontario Airport is the infrastructure's there and it's very good. That means the runways. Okay, but they also, my opinion, by design, LAX, who's managed the airport for the last 30 years, did not develop the surrounding area. And how the airport works is you don't make money and take it off the airport. Whatever we make on the airport stays in the airport. So if you make rents off those other properties or profits, they go back into operations and pay their operations price down. So as LAX did not develop the property, the landing fees, the price to operate it and land an aircraft there went way up, and that's why you saw a decrease in traffic. So our goal is immediately to bring the price down, but I'm putting general fund money from the county into it to bring the price of operations down. And then to quickly develop all the surrounding area to have those rents going to bring the hopefully down to zero for landing of the aircraft there for our airlines, because we just want people to come. So that's our long-term vision. We're going to be building a new terminal. We'll be upgrading the other terminals. We'll be making transportation hubs. We're looking at hotel, shopping center, restaurants,
high-end hotels,
which we have a couple
skyrise buildings, stuff like that.
On the south side of the airport, it's more of the shipping component. We already have a big UPS and Federal Express hub. I want to bring DHL in. I want to bring a bonded warehouse in, a refrigerated warehouse, because I understand some of our goods and fruits and vegetables, things like that want to be shipped overseas need to be refrigerated before they go on an airplane. And so there's a lot of infrastructure projects we'll be doing. We have investors helping to look at us at some of these projects. But it's exciting because once we open all this up, we'll have modern technology. We're building, we're looking at 2 new parking structures with a electronic park your car, not drive around the loop, but it actually gets pushed there by a lift. So we're looking at a lot of different things like that. And
I got a question, sir. Of course, for such a big area, when you talk about development, you talk about the huge amount of money, right? If I say I have $2 million, that's almost nothing. Yet, there are more investors who have $2 or $3 million rather than those few numbers who has hundreds of millions, right? Or even $1 billion, right? So, it is, to me, it is a waste that you ignore those smaller size investors.
We won't ignore it. It is a EB5 regional center there. We can take a group of investors and put together the money for a bigger project. We will probably have different people we deal with for different projects. And so one may be an EB5 project, one may be a straight investment project, those type of things. And some will be on our dime to build because it's not really a money-making deal.
In other words, there is an organization or a group of organizers who combine those small amount of money together for major projects.
Correct.
Am I right?
Correct.
I see. So who to contact? I believe that among my audience is, remember about 2 months ago, I called you, say I had a friend coming from Hebei who wants to invest, and later we'll find out the money was too small, the amount was too small, only $3 million, something like that kind, right? If that thing pops up though, who do we, as a show, I do get lots of calls, right? So who do we direct them to?
Right now, because there's different people involved in it, there's different investment groups doing different things. I'm talking to probably 7 or 8 different groups right now. The best thing is to contact my office, and if you could put my personal email on there, then they can just email me, or my WeChat ID. And then I could kind of forward them to the right person after some questions, like,
I see.
what kind of investment are you looking for? Is it long-term, short-term, EB5? Is it, those type of questions to go different things. Like, do you want to be part of a hotel? Want to be part of a restaurant, a parking structure, a Capitol building? These are timelines, and we can point them in different directions where there's folks.
So well, with your permission, I'll ask my editor to put it on the screen.
Sounds
of your contact numbers or whatever, in case they need your help.
Sounds
they might just pick up the phone and call, right?
Yes.
All right. This is a very exciting situation that I'm looking at. And the people say, wait for 5 years, you will see totally different picture of Ontario, of San Bernardino,
And the volume
of things that eastbound,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I would like to have you give us a little description about a 5-year range, 10-year range, or even more, like 15, if you do have something in mind, please.
Well, first of all, we call it the Inland Empire. That's San Bernardino, Riverside counties. Is the fastest growth spot for jobs and population anywhere in the country right now. Combined. We are growing like crazy.
The big IE.
The big IE is we got lots of residential housing starts. We have lots of commercial buildings going up, lots of job creation, which is great. That's why the airport's so critical to keep feeding that.
All right.
So it looks very good long term for us. We have micro ones that are doing bad and some are doing better, but we have all our infrastructure completely done, all our freeways and education institutions and hospitals and medical, all the big stuff that government has to do, that's all done. So now it's the private investment stuff. For me, the Ontario Airport's gonna be strong. I have a park in my district called Prado Park. It's almost 4,000 acres that I plan to put over $120 million into it. And to build
how many?
120 million.
120 million. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That's not a huge number.
No, for a park, it is.
Yeah.
And what it's going to be a big entertainment hub. So we're looking at soccer fields, baseball fields, walking trails.
I see.
Demonstration gardens for us. We have a nice lake there.
Oh, by the way,
Concerts.
remember you showed me a little landscape with the shape of a dragon or something.
Yes.
That was a long time ago, even when you were at the legislature, right? So does that mean that at that time you were thinking about plan already?
Yeah, and that's a World Trade Center.
Uh-huh.
So North America Trade Hub.
I see.
Where people can have offices, trade shows, point of sale areas if they want to hold it. I've talked to like the Chamber of Commerce in Wuxi. I'm talking with them, and they want to have a possibly warehouse there that their manufacturers can have small amounts held.
Like a trade zone.
Yeah, and have e-trading and just be able to do internet sales off of that
I
place.
see.
But combined effort versus one company bring a bunch together. It's kind of like Alibaba or something like that, but smaller scale.
All right, good.
So there's a lot of those possibilities. We're still the largest consumer market in the world. I mean, per person. China's obviously a lot bigger per people, but. So we have a great growth, expect lots of optimism for me for the growth of San Bernardino County, and I have a lot of fun projects. One of the things I'm the chair for Southern California is a new cellular data network that government gets to use. And we can spend all day on talking about it, but basically it's a new bandwidth for cellular data like we use on our cell phones for government purposes. So you could do education. I could do a lot of my county services via the internet. I have building inspectors going out remotely with the person's phone to take pictures to send back versus them driving. So I'm excited about the technology revolution in government and how we provide services to our residents using the internet and
to healthily divert the usage of the cyber world these days for social programs, right? For government programs, even.
Correct.
Right? Okay, very good.
So I'm kind of the point person for that.
All right, good. I like that. Let more positive things happen in that area rather than, all right? My friend, my dear audience, today I have the pleasure to be joined by my good friend, a strong leader of the community, Honorable Kurt Hackman, County Supervisor of San Bernardino, former Assemblyman of California. Let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, I would want to look a little further from
politics.
Let's talk about the nation, can we please?
Yeah,
Or shall we?
absolutely.
All right, thank you. Stay with us. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. Jack Zhao, your host, with my team, and we love the community so much. We work very hard to grasp any opportunity to put information for your references about your own life. Speaking of life, though, what we care about this very moment is nothing more than what we care about our presidential election. And it says to be the most wonderful election of U.S. history, and also the most hilarious. Some commentators say even that strongly. So be it right or be it wrong, I don't want to give any comment, but it is one thing for sure that we are mystified with the situation. You, as a leader coming downstairs from the legislature, you had a chance to look up, and you had a chance to look down. You have your vision. So in your vision, though, I would like to share with my audience just your comments about Mr. Trump and the Trump phenomenon, please.
Yeah, well, let me preface this with a couple of things. One, in the legislature, I was the number 2 Republican in the state, and I'm a county party chair for Republicans. So I don't try to be political, but sometimes those things slip in.
All right, good.
Okay. I had the honor to meet Trump last week, actually, at the convention. I was not a delegate. My wife was. But we went and it was my first national convention. I've been invited, but I never went. And so it was interesting in Ohio to see everything come along. I also have good contact with Rudy Giuliani, who's the former mayor of New York, who knows Donald Trump very personally.
Yeah, I like his speech very much.
Yes, and he's got a lot of passion, energy for all the
lots of
gentlemen,
passion. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a good friend with Donald Trump, and he told me a long time ago, because I was concerned about how unpolitically correct Donald Trump can be sometimes as a politician myself. He's like, he knows what he's doing. He's saying the things he needs to do to get elected, but he's not going to govern as crazy as he sounds sometimes. You know, that was the conversation, nutshell. I believe what you're seeing is a worldwide phenomenon. We see like London withdrawing from their union and different things going on around the world for elections. People want to change right now, and they want it on both sides of the aisle. It's not a Republican thing, and it's not a Democrat thing. What I've been learning over the last couple election cycles are people are less party identified. Actually, more people are now independents and declined to states than they are of either party. So it's becoming less party because they're not happy with the parties, and more subject specific. So whether that's education or the economy or your public safety or world, different issues, it's those subjects that you line up with, line you up with the candidate, less likely the party. Now, they're still party faithful, there's still party infrastructure. And what you're seeing is people wanted definitely a change. The Bernie Sanders, who frankly, as a socialist candidate, the only one in the legislature in the California, in the Congress, didn't have a lot of support. Yeah, he got 43% of the votes in 22 states he won. So for that phenomenon is someone saying, look, I don't want the status quo. I don't want the Hillary Clinton. For Trump to win now 17 candidates, Republican candidates, good candidates, governors, congressmen, senators, and become the one standing who's not a politician. On the Republican side, they say, we don't want the status quo, we want change. So I see this election coming down to who presents a change vision that is going to be positive. What I saw from the speeches I heard in the Trump, the Republican convention so far was he's definitely there for change. He wants to blow up the system and change the system.
Okay.
And it's much more nationalistic than we've been hearing from any candidate for a long time. Very much United States citizens first before we move out.
All right, good.
So, and I don't see that on the Democrat side. And with the latest email scandal, I think that's going to hurt the candidate
there's
very
something
much.
I really want to ask you about. Let's wait a little bit. Let's stick to Trump. Mr. Trump, when he started, he started in a totally different way. Lots of people took him as for entertainer rather than a leader. And there is a comment now these days. They say it's the media that made him look that way. As a matter of fact, he wasn't that kind. Right now, that put aside though, I take myself for example. I used to be on the other side, and now I kind of like walk out from that. I'm staying in the middle of the road at the cross, right? I'm waiting to see enough evidence for me to tilt where to tilt it to. Now, I do see, like you mentioned, there is a little something in Trump or the Trumpism or the Trump party to that. But the thing is that the things opposite is that I see the rebounds or the boycott from his own party group, like the convention boycotted by former Bush, by
Sure.
by Mitt Romney, by Jeb Bush, and even the governor of Ohio. So, how
Absolutely.
do that indicate to you?
Well, absolutely. But again, all those people didn't even win. I mean, let's look at Bush. He didn't win more than 1 or 2 states. You know, they were not supportive. And what they feel like the party is leaving, Trump is leading the party astray is what they're thinking. My feeling is the party's already left. It's much more moderate now on some of the social issues, okay, which Trump is. It's much more patriotic than our party has been saying for a long time.
I see.
So I think those people who left are the ones who are going to miss out because I think the movement is what it is right now.
I see.
And it started back from the Tea Partiers. We didn't call them that, but the Tea Parties were all about change. They're about not having government so strong on them, not having all these taxations go into programs, leave us alone, let us do our thing. And that kind of started that movement on both sides of the aisle to get to where we are now, where Bernie Sanders and someone like Trump has done very well in elections they never should have a chance to do. No infrastructure, no money, no experience in doing this. But you look at some of our Republicans' greatest presidents. Ronald Reagan was an actor before he became governor, before he became president. Okay,
All right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was our governor, and he was an actor.
yeah.
We have a lot of people standing
No
up in
office
position
experience at all,
with no
yeah.
experience whatsoever. Obama only had his 4 years of Senate
Yeah,
experience
senator,
ever,
yes, yeah.
and he was our last president. So, to me, I look at the past accomplishments and experience levels he has. The economy is very, on everyone's mind. So is safety. He's built a very successful business.
What does make sense to me is the concept of this person, be it he or she, right? Because as a president of the United States, you have your own group, people around you to help you.
Yeah, you have a lot of advisors.
You have a lot of advisors, board of this or that, anything, be it anything, stem cells. And then there's a group advising you on stem cells.
Yeah.
And then nuclear weapons. There's a group of experts advising you that.
Yeah.
So a president doesn't have to be knowledgeable of everything.
No.
It is the basic concept.
But I will
right?
say one thing from my experience, Jack, and this is very important to me. When I was in the legislature, 80 assembly members and 40 senators. Out of the 120 of us, only 12 or 13 of us ever written a payroll check in their life. I was one of those.
You're right.
Okay, and out of those 12, 3 of us had really created something from scratch. I wasn't a doctor, I wasn't an attorney, I wasn't an obstetrician, I wasn't a service. I actually had to start a business, compete out in the real world. Government doesn't have a lot of people in private sector inside of it. And that's why I think we do a lot of things that damage private sector, which is what our country's founded on, is a free market private sector growth.
I see.
It's not a socialist country where we provide jobs for everybody.
And by that, I owe my audience a little more introduction, that I need to point one thing, that during his time of legislature, he was the Republican floor leader who travels across the aisles. That was really something outstanding, because people, they often the time that you see them strongly holding one side, going against the other, and going cross is really something else, right?
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
that
Jack.
is the mind I'm talking about. That's the concept I'm talking about. Now, I have no problem now a little bit understanding Mr. Donald Trump, where he is heading. And back to what you mentioned just now, within the party of GOP though, are you saying that the trend of going conceptually towards where Trump is leading, where we're still talking about followers or not followers, so that's a contradiction? Or are you saying that Mr. Donald Trump is totally something of different, of even a third kind?
I think he is a combination of, he has modernized the Republican following. I think a lot more, I mean, obviously he got more votes than the other candidate by far. Any other presidential election, he's got more votes. So that group of people are identifying with him more so than the old party platform.
I see.
The old party platform pretty much had a very strong social conservative side, had a strong economic side, and a strong national defense. Trump is now less, he's the second or third, but not so much on the social conservative. He's not going after gay marriages. He's not a priority for
Yeah,
abortions.
yeah.
Some of the social issues, and I think there's a lot of people that have been almost defranchised from the party name on both sides as people flee the parties and as they shrink because, and I'm a local party chair, so I see this. I may have 15 things that define someone as a Republican. And some of my members say, if you're not all 15, then you're not a Republican. Well, that's not true.
I see.
I'd rather have someone who's 9 out of the 15 be part of my group than not have a group.
That's too extreme. That's
Yes.
too extreme.
So I think you see this the first time that someone has got to the highest position that's not 15 of 15 different Republican credentials. And I think it brings more people behind him that
In
way.
other words, do you still agree with me that Mr. Donald Trump represents the concept of going for a little reformation of
Absolutely.
the party, call it a metamorph or something, right? Because the party itself evolutes to what it is now.
Correct.
And then it's a question between followers and non-followers, that kind of thing, rather than as Mr. Trump posted as one brand new party.
Yeah, I think it's part of the larger movement that started before Trump got in.
I see.
The Tea Parties, everybody else. It's about what is government's role, reality is. Should we be getting into all these things? As a Republican myself, I don't think the federal government should get involved in too much besides, national defense and other things, and let states decide what they want to do.
About the email scandal, which just brought up
The DNC.
the DNC,
Correct.
and the party preferences, and stuff like that. Your comment, please, sir.
Well, I think it's interesting as the media try to say the Republican convention was not united because Cruz did not endorse Trump. And I was there on the floor listening to the speech, and I was there. That room was united around Trump. Cruz then got no sympathy whatsoever. He was booed off the stage, literally booed off the stage. This shows you that I think there's going to be a bigger divide because Bernie Sanders was about change and Hillary is about status quo. And like we talked about the earlier segment, the population in general, doesn't matter what party, decline to state, independent, the Democrat, Republican, they want change. And Bernie Sanders did very well, again, a limited budget, no experience running national campaigns, fighting against a big machine, and came up winning 22 states and 43% of the popular vote. To find out that the system was rigged, I think it's going to really hurt this convention. It's going to be a distraction the whole week and really hurt Hillary Clinton and what the image of the Democrat Party is. I have a lot of friends who are Democrats, and a lot of them are saying the Democrat Party has left them. It's become, they would blame me, more Republican. They go after corporate monies. They go after special interests. They're not there for the little people anymore. And that's what Bernie Sanders' message was, and Clinton represents the opposite. So this being a scandal, this latest time, I think is really going to hurt the campaign. And it really depends what happens in the next 4 or 5 months. Remember we talked about individual subjects that draw people out to vote. What's going to happen? If it's still national security and still economy, I think Trump wins. If it switches to social issues, education, healthcare, women's rights, those type of things, I think Hillary Clinton has advantage. But it's going to be neck and neck the whole way until something breaks. And this may be something that breaks it.
Now it is easy to understand that if it had been a situation as Hillary Clinton versus Bernie Sanders, though, and this thing, of course, goes to the favor of Bernie Sanders. Now Bernie Sanders out of the picture. It is Hillary Clinton only versus Donald Trump, though. Do you see, or do people see, or can we take that as something in favor of Donald Trump?
Yes, because I think a lot of the votes that came out over the states were new voters, both for Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. Bernie's job was to sit there and say why Hillary Clinton's a better choice for those new voters. But I think those new voters will be disenfranchised. It looked like the election's been rigged or it's been tainted the whole beginning because a lot of people put a lot of personal effort into it. And not that they're going to go vote for Donald Trump tomorrow, but I don't think they show up to the polls. I think that excitement to be part of that system now goes away, where the new people that came out for Trump helped get him the primary election won are still there. They're still very excited about the change aspect of it. So I think you'll see some people won't show up, some people that will still vote for Hillary, some people will vote for Donald Trump. I think you see that fracture. It won't be united behind Hillary Clinton now. I think you see that. And I think as you see more and more what comes out in Hillary Clinton. I mean, think about it. Here's a husband and wife who's never worked a job in their life besides government. Okay, from the governor's office, attorney general,
Your
the staff.
your term never cut a paycheck.
Well, never created one, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
never created one.
Did all political jobs, now has over 200 million in the bank. I mean, to me, that's corrupt. Whatever you call it, I don't care if you get it for speeches.
I see,
You
I
can't
see.
use your job to earn $200 million from a government job. They have not created anything. I think more and more of that stuff comes out. More and more of the corporation, which is funny because everyone thinks the Republicans are on the take for business. When I was in the legislature, I was in charge of elections. The Democrat candidates got 3 times more money from corporations than we did. We just didn't get as much money. It's not what the perceptions are out there. But I think as Donald Trump turns, it's going to be a completely negative, unseen, negative campaign for president between now and November. All they're going to do is attack each other.
One last thing, sir. Lots of people still do not want to give up. They still have a hope, say, should there be a third one, like a libertarian popping up? Could that be the case?
Not at this point. The way the rules are for each state, you have to be qualified to be on the ballot. Some of the states will have a Libertarian or a Green Party or some other candidate. To have a new one start from right now, no, it's too late. A lot of those filing periods are closed, the signature requirements, people go right in what they want.
There's only 2 now.
There's only 2.
Only 2. Couldn't be.
It's going to be one or the other one.
All right, very good. My dear audience, we went over time, but gladly. With my good friend, Kurt Hackman, Honorable Kurt Hackman, Assemblyman, former Assemblyman of California, and current County Supervisor of San Bernardino, sharing his wonderful thoughts with this many questions. We're not done yet, but we're over time. Thank you very much for watching. And sir, thank you very much for
Jack.
sharing.
Always good to see you.
Okay, good.